Have you thought about starting a nonprofit, but you're actually not sure if you need a board to get started? Well, today I'll be talking to you about the purpose of a board, whether you need it or not, the makeup of your board, and then also how to find a great founding board for your something amazing. Let's jump right in. So to get started, the first thing you need to know is the purpose of a board. Well, the purpose of a nonprofit, if you want to go that route, the purpose of a nonprofit is just so that you don't have a taxation burden, so that you can provide programs and services and collect money without the burden of taxation. So that is the purpose of a nonprofit. The IRS needs to know that you're handling your funds correctly, that you're providing the programs and services that you need. And the way to do that is to require each nonprofit to have a board. Now, if you just want to raise funds and you want to give those funds away for charity and that's your sole goal and you're not really worried about profit, you may want to consider starting a foundation or a for-profit company or business that does that with its profit. So you have to just get clear about which direction you want to go and what you're really looking to do. With the nonprofit and non-taxation burden, a lot of strings are attached to that. So there are a lot of requirements, and one of those requirements is for you to have a board. Now, when you're looking to make up your board, you need to know that you have to have a greater than 50% disinterested party on your board. So you cannot have, family and friends related to you that make up more than 50% of your board. That needs to be people who have no vested interest in your program besides a fiduciary responsibility as a director. So it's really important that you remember that piece, because you can have family and friends on your board, but they need to not be employees or staff or a relative. So in order to make up that 50%, it needs to be 49% of your board if you're going to have any of those types of people on your board. I hope that made sense. You've probably done a lot of work already because you're starting a nonprofit and it is a startup, so you've done a lot of the legwork, but you will still need your board to be involved during that growth phase, the startup phase and then the growth phase. So you need to make sure that you are asking people, letting them know your expectations on time, letting them know your expectations as far as involvement, whether they're a working board or they are just an oversight board. So you'll need to let your board members that you're requesting or asking know that. It's a legal requirement that your board has terms. Your board has to have a certain amount of time that they're expected to stay on the board and a certain amount of maximum time that they can stay on the board until they have to renew. So for me, my board has a 3-year term. Now, some people stagger those terms, and I think it's a great idea if you have people that you really want on your board, but you're not sure how much time they can commit. So you can have a 1-year term, a 2-year term, and a 3-year term available for people to choose which amount of time they can give you. And that's important too, because you want to make sure that you're acknowledging that people are busy and they may not be able to give you 3 years of their time, and they may not want to. Now, if you're just starting out and you want to start your board and you're just not sure where to start, my advice would be to start with 5 people that you trust, that believe in what you're doing, that you believe you can trust with making decisions about your organization. You want to get people on there who have expertise in areas that you may not. So, if you're not good with numbers, you might want to get an accountant on there. If you want to make sure everything is legally sound, you may think about adding a lawyer onto your board. And you have to make sure that they understand the cause and that they believe in it and want to see it thrive. So when you're looking at board members, it's very important to have your expectations, jobs, duties, things that you would expect from them listed out, so that it helps you also look for the person and the qualifications you're looking for, and then also it helps the person decide if this is the type of board they want to be on. Another thing I would recommend is knowing whether you want to have a working board or not. There are a lot of people who like to have working boards and they expect their boards to volunteer at events, they expect their boards to help raise funds, they expect quite a few things from their board, and as long as the board knows that prior to getting started, I think that's okay. I personally don't have a working board just because I want my board members fresh, and I really want them to focus on the guidance of the organization as a director rather than spending the time to help do the work. So I generally find interns or volunteers to help me with the actual work within the nonprofit, and then I have my board members as my guiding entity for me to expand and grow the organization. And I think a great founding board doesn't necessarily micromanage you if they feel like you can run the organization. You really want to make your organization open communication between you and your board. It should be a sort of mentoring relationship so that you can ask your board members for help. They can tell you what they don't understand or what they need help understanding or whatever the case. And it should really become like their baby as well. So you're the one that's doing the work and in it every day, but they should be there to help support you when you need it. And I would say that is probably one of the best types of boards that you can actually have for your organization when you're getting started. You have to also remember that you are a startup, and if you haven't received your 501c3 yet, but you are looking to receive funds and you're just not sure about how to go about that, I also have a video on that, and I will link that here as well. If you're not subscribed and this video helped you, please press the like button and subscribe down below. And if you know someone who's starting a nonprofit or starting some sort of business and I have videos on here that can help them, go ahead and share that with them, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.